I can tell you without any shred of doubt that a Gachagua candidate will be lethal. He has what it takes to take on Ruto. Now, if you discount those things I've said,
Yes.
and if you take care of the other side of him that I'm going to look at,
Yes.
what could stand in the way of him as we move to 2027? If you take care of that, discount that, just remain with Gachagua. Just like they say, women like bad boys.
But where is government?
Girls love bad boys.
Eh.
Yes. You wonder here, you are a nice guy, decent. Girls are not looking at you. They are looking at the bad boys.
The crazy ones.
The crazy ones. Kenyans want a bad man. Actually, right now, I'll tell you for a fact. Kenyans want a mad person. When people must take off the gloves and do bare knuckle, will Kalonzo fold his sleeves and fight Ruto? Will he?
Great to see you. Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Kabiru. It's always a pleasure to have you joining us for these conversations to help our leaders in making better policy and political decisions. I'm here with Prof. Manyora. Great to see you. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you, great judge.
The whole of this week I've been called cousin in the comment section
Kuzo.
by people in town, even as we're talking about Albert Ojwang and the sadness that we have in this country. The opposition is still making moves. We've seen Gachagua transversing different parts of the country from eastern to coastal region. He has called all Kenyans cousins, and this started a conversation in the country, government saying that this is bringing divisiveness in the country. But this cousin statement, why have people embraced it this much?
Because it is from Gachagua. He's gifted.
Which gift is this?
He's gifted. He can hit at you nicely using language. Yeah.
There's a viral video of Miguna from, I think, 3 years ago,
Yes.
where he said Gachagua is a lethal weapon.
Yes.
And predicting that Ruto does not know the man that he's bringing as
I said it
deputy
repeatedly
president.
when this talk of impeachment started, even the whispers of impeachment. I said, be careful. You are inviting trouble. And they have invited trouble. Gachagua will give them trouble.
He was called the one-term MP.
Yes.
Doesn't know politics.
And remember how I said, what is one term? An MP who has been in parliament for 5 terms cannot compare to Gachagua given his past history. Those special DOs, working close with Michuki, with people like, not Michuki, with people like Uhuru Kenyatta, Pietro, I don't know who, Uhuru and things. Though that journey prepared him. And you cannot compare that to an MP.
Are we looking at...
I said it many times, and I told Ruto,
Yes.
be careful what you do. Don't invite trouble. And surely, somebody has just called me this morning telling me, hii Gachagua anapatia kijana yetu tabu sana. Yeah.
What is this thing that Gachagua has?
Shaking the ground. So, one term, before they are done with one term, Kuzo. You don't know what next you'll come up with.
It was all about Mount Kenya before.
Yes.
And everyone was saying Gachagua is not a leader of the country.
It's just
doesn't
Mount
have
Kenya.
that country figure.
Then just one word cousin and the country's on fire.
What do you think will be next for Gachagua?
I can't predict. I know he will come up with something. All I know is that he's lethal. Gachagua is lethal. But in my next video, which I've been saying I'll do about Gachagua, I'll try to crack and say this is the only way Gachagua can lose it.
Then from this conversation, does this mean that he's the only person in the opposition that can take on President Ruto as the flag bearer of the opposition?
It is very tricky. For 2 reasons. One of the reasons is, will Gachagua maintain this? And that's the subject of my video that will come. I've been talking about it. I've been scripting it. I rarely script videos. But Gachagua is so central to the 2027 election. I've taken more than 2 months to script a video, to have a script for a video on Gachagua. Whether he will actually become stronger or even remain what he is, or he'll go down. That is the subject of my video, which may come out, I think, now next week. The other reason is There is something that is not quite, and I've talked about it. People like Gachagua, beginning with the mountain people, they love him, they like him, they like what he's doing. But somehow, he doesn't figure in their imagination as a presidential candidate. They like what he's doing, but they don't then see that as making him a presidential candidate.
Is this what you are seeing too, or is this the observation from the ground?
This is what's on the ground.
From where you sit, how
Yes.
do you see it? Does it
I see it. I know how
like
this country works. I can tell you about what's happening in Western region. I can tell you about coast. I know what happens in this country. Yeah, I'm an observer of the political scene of this country.
So for
I have a
Gachagua,
keen eye, a nose for politics, an ear on the ground. I know what's going on. On the mountain, the people love what Gachagua is doing. And they love the guy. He's a good guy. But somehow, that image of him as a presidential candidate, much less a president, has not formed in the minds of the people. So you find on the mountain, people are talking of Gachagua, of Matiang'i, Kalonzo, but not Gachagua for president. Now, that could remain like that until 2027. But Gachagua being who he is, he must be aware of that.
that they like me, but they don't see me as their president.
Yes, he can do something about it. And then don't forget the narrative that the Mount Kenya people want Ruto out. They are going to look for somebody to do it, not themselves. That this time, they don't want, just like they supported Ruto, they don't want the president this time. They want somebody else to get.
Why do you
And the other narrative is Kikuyu Kalenjin must stop. And the people to stop it are the Kikuyu people. So the Kikuyus are not only staying away from the president in 2027, but they are supporting a non-Kikuyu, a non-Kalenjin. So these things are playing against Gachagua. But who is Gachagua? He can find a way of going around it. And now the other truth is, which is a very serious truth, save for what my video will unravel, the other side of Gachagua, the negative of Gachagua, what may stand in the way of Gachagua. Save for that, I can tell you without any shred of doubt that a Gachagua candidate will be lethal. He has what it takes to take on Ruto. Now, if you discount those things I've said,
Yes.
and if you take care of the other side of him that I'm going to look at,
Yes.
what could stand in the way of him as we move to 2027? If you take care of that, discount that, just remain with Gachagua. Hey, my friend. Hey, Ruto will have a hard time. Facing Gachagua like this
Yes.
in an election
Yeah. What are
with
some-
somebody like Natembe as the running mate.
Yes.
This election will be over by 10 o'clock.
Tell me this, what quality do you see in Gachagua that
The
shows
same
you-
quality that Ruto saw to make him running mate, despite everybody being against it.
Yeah.
Everybody. Ishungu and the rest tried to convince Ruto.
He have 3 votes or 4 votes.
Yes.
Out of
Yes.
5 votes or
Yes.
something.
They did it like two nights, 2 days. One of them overnight, but the whole night. The night of long knives
Yes.
in Karen, the DP's residence. Everybody told Ruto, Kindiki. Ruto looked. What Ruto saw in Gachagua is what I'm talking about. He's a really warrior. He's a fighter. And as you can see now, he's gifted when it comes to addressing the crowds. He knows how to charge the crowds.
Let me ask you, what quality are Kenyans looking for?
Right now.
Because we're looking at Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yes.
And government is wooing Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of speeches telling Kalonzo come back, do this. We have also heard Kalonzo can be paid to go to government. It seems like they want Kalonzo on their side.
Because
what quality do Kenyans want?
Kenyans are looking for a bad man. Just like they say women like bad boys.
But where is government?
Girls love bad boys.
Eh.
Yes. You wonder here, you are a nice guy, decent. Girls are not looking at you. They are looking at the bad boys.
The crazy ones.
The crazy ones. Kenyans want a bad man. Actually, right now, I'll tell you for a fact. Kenyans want a mad person. You cannot change this country if you are not mad. You need a madman to change this country. Kenyans are looking for a bad person.
But
A man who can get crushed
Yes.
and run these people out of town.
Why is government now speaking of Kalonzo and talking about Kalonzo? Why do they try to show Kenyans that Kalonzo is the person that can easily beat them, and that's why they are calling for him?
There's so much going for Kalonzo, and again there's so much going against him. First of all, that Kenya people are looking for, that man or woman Kenyans are looking for, is not in Kalonzo. But there's so much else going for Kalonzo, I've said. But when it comes to the mad person, the bad person, the bad guy the Kenyans are looking for, Kalonzo is not there. So it is bad because people may agree on a presidential candidate and they want to support him the way they supported Kibaki in 2002. But at some point, it will zero down to the man himself. What is the man bringing to the campaign? What is he bringing to the campaign? Because it could get to a point where it has to be a little nasty. It has to be bad to get Ruto out. And that's why Kenyans have reservations when it comes to Kalonzo. They have reservations. This thing could get to a point where only a bad boy can do it, or a bad girl like Mother Karua. And that's why Matiang'i and Gachagua and Mother Karua and people like Natembea are left in the room when others are told, get out. Take a walk. Men are discussing one or two things in this house.
Tell me the side of Kalonzo that government wants. Because they are saying, Kalonzo Kuja, you are not in the opposition, you shouldn't be there, you should not...
If they want Kalonzo, in other words, why they wouldn't mind Kalonzo being president or what?
Why they are calling for Kalonzo to join them in government?
Because it's just to dismantle the opposition.
If Kalonzo goes...
And they are preparing for something. They are preparing Kalonzo. In the event the opposition settles for somebody other than Kalonzo, they already have started the wooing. So it will be very easy for him to slide into Kenya Kwanza. So they have started the journey. They can see perhaps, because of the factors I'm trying to bring forward, Kenyans may decide, well, we love Kalonzo, he deserves it, he has been at it for a long time, this is his time. However, when people must take off the gloves and do bare knuckle, will Kalonzo fold his sleeves and fight Ruto? Will he? Then the answer is no, maybe not. Already, Gachagua's sleeves are, he doesn't even have the sleeves.
Yes.
He has a
vest.
Yeah, ready. Yeah, he's
ready.
Yeah.
And Kenyans are looking for a bad boy.
They are looking for a bad boy. Kenyans are looking for a bad boy. That's why, and remember something else. Remember, the contribution we expect from the Gen Zs is a major contribution towards the election of 2027. And the Gen Zs will be looking for somebody who can be a bad boy or who is a bad boy. So a lot is going against Kalonzo. But again, there's so much going for him. Because if ukiweka hesabu hii vile hesabu itaweza kuchezwa. And I'll be talking about this in my coming videos every Saturday about the conversation. You see, one of the challenges these people are going to get in the opposition is, how do you come up with a winning team? How do you arrange a winning team? If they come to me, I can form it for them. It's not just a team. It's not just a question of saying Kalonzo this, then this. No. It's a question of crafting a team while taking care of so many other factors and sensitivities. It is a question of sustainability. It's a question of believability. It's a question of looking at 202. What went wrong? Why was the MOU kept secret, fearing Moi? Why was the summit not entrenched in the post-election? So it calls for very serious thinking and crafting. These guys should give me the consultancy. Like I've said, I go to Mombasa with my feet in water. Sand passing through my toes. I'll think for them. I'll craft something for them. And when I'm through with the crafting, It is foolproof. It goes to the between now to the election, after the election, and you create a presidency. And you create a team. And none in that team can violate the agreement in the team. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of thinking.
Let me ask you this.
Something I was trying to do for NASA, then I left when I realized they were not appreciating what people do. So at some point I left. And when I left, let somebody come and argue with me. I'll tell you, we crafted those things at the ANC headquarters with my late friend, my very good friend, the late Jacob Nanjakululu. God rest his. We crafted that thing.
The NASA we saw.
This thing they are saying, Mudavadi is G prime this. We are the ones who started that thing during the NASA days. And we were looking at something much more serious than what is now on board. But we didn't get to the end.
Because the problem we have in this country is that these MOUs
are
only there till election day.
You have to give it life. You must make it difficult. If they give me the consultants, we will give somebody like Kalonzo the presidency, and he will enjoy the full powers of the presidency. What our president is doing now, he will do. But one thing he will not do is to run the show alone. Is to betray the rest, the way Kibaki did. He will not do it. Even if he tried. He tries in the morning, in the afternoon he's home. Yet the arrangement will be such that he will enjoy the full presidency with the full powers. Yes. But he will govern according to the agreement. And with inbuilt in that agreement, in that architecture, will be safeguards against all the games people play including Tony Blair and Gordon Brown. Yeah, we will take care of all those things. That's why I'm saying it goes for thinking. And they must get money and pay me to do it for them.
Finally, we started with Cousins and Gachagua. Yes. Can he do it Mansolu? Can you look at these figures in the loyal opposition and say, you guys are not serious? I can do this. I can take Ruto head on.
Yes, he can. What he can do, and this is why talking is necessary. This is why they must begin crafting. This is why they must get people to begin building the ship towards 2027. Not these busybodies around them. Not these hecklers and, sycophants around them. Thinkers. They must begin now. And under what circumstances may Gachagua run, for example? He can look around and run. What will he be looking for? Once he gets the gamer people to change the perception they have now, the thinking they have now. Because I've already said, they are not seeing him as a presidential candidate. So the first task is to change that. Gachagua can do it. You said he was a Mount Kenya people. Is he not with Kuzo now? Is he not across the country?
Yes.
I'm talking Mount Kenya tayari.
Yeah.
He's a Kenyan now. So what are people saying? Now, he can change that thinking of the community. That he's a good guy, doing a good job. We love him. We love what he's doing. But for President Matiang'i or Kalonzo, he can change that, then it is him. So why would he run? He will run because if he runs, he will be number one. There's no debate about it. Even with the Mount Kenya votes alone, he will be number one. But remember, he will have a running mate. That running mate will bring more votes. He can choose to leave Kalonzo work with Wamalwa and go for Natembeya. Natembeya has the entire command of Western Kenya. Not Eugene, not Mudavadi, not Wetangula. It's Natembeya. So if he breaks the protocol within Western, where Eugene is the party leader, and goes for Natembeya, they will be number one. In fact, watakosea tu kidogo to get 50 plus 1. So he will forcing a runoff. A runoff with perhaps Ruto. Your guess is as good as mine how it will go. So yes, he can stand. Knowing very well he will force a runoff and he will be number one.
And then look at number 2.
Yeah.
Form an agreement.
Yes.
And then he
no one will see. They will see how he will know. He will think. But the best option for the opposition, if they must remove Ruto, is the formula I can give them.